I feel like I've redefined what adventure means in the last few years, probably since having children. Adventure always used to be like finding the biggest hotspot or what you see on social media and doing something really grand. But for me now, adventure is maybe discovering something about yourself through adventure, like through what you see and where you go. And I say this about racing actually, like who you meet at the end of your race is not who you were at the beginning, and it's a version of yourself you need to get to know. You might not like her, but you need to know her and have grace for her. My name's Tess, and I live here in Lyme Regis with my 3 children, my husband and our Cocker Spaniel puppy. The things that are most important to me are definitely family values, getting outdoors in nature, like we spend an awful lot of time at the beach, on the coastline, finding just places where we can connect with each other and connect outdoors. I've got 3 little girls and I really want them to be empowered to grow up to be like a force of nature themselves. Being that role model for them is really important for me. So running has just become this essential part of managing being a mother, being a wife, neurodiversity. It's getting me outdoors, it's getting me out of my head and into my body. And obviously the exercise and endorphins are amazing, but for me it's just so much more. I've always had an incredible affinity with the water. Like my family, we used to joke they could never take me to the beach because I always ended up in the ocean. And I think that I knew from a really young age that the ocean was just an incredibly regulating place for me where I could express myself and I could be playful. And you lose those parts of yourself as you grow up. But for me, claiming them back has been really powerful. So I've been consistently sea swimming now for probably about 5 years. Again, it's that getting out of your head and into your body and learning to trust your body that it knows what to do, especially when you're sea swimming in the really cold months. That's really empowering. I'll often have like a release when we go in the ocean and you never know what's going to quite come up for you. But again, it's something that needs to come up and that needs to be felt. And you can kind of leave it out there. You can leave it out in the ocean. You can just give it to nature and then you can come out being like more of yourself. And I think that that is what the idea of healing is that you become more of you and those things that bring you joy. Back in 2024, which was really when I paused my running journey, I had, I'm going to say, a mental breakdown. I'd reached burnout. I'd been heavily masking my whole life, a lot of people pleasing, not recognizing my body's needs, not understanding my brain and what I need to thrive. And I was really, really lucky during that time that we could access a lot of holistic healthcare. I was able to invest in a coach, I was able to invest in somatic healing and in breath work and in women's circles and retreats, and those became essential to me coming back to myself and recovering from that journey and being able to show up for my kids. During that time, even when I was at sort of my lowest, I was very aware of how privileged I was that I could access those things and that not everyone has that. And there was something in me that was like, this isn't quite right, because these sorts of healing modalities, they don't just benefit a certain demographic, they would benefit everybody. People need safety within their bodies, and that can't always be found in a therapist's office. So I'm currently signed up for my first ultramarathon, which will be 54 kilometres along the Jurassic coastline. My runs are now all taking place on the Southwest Coast Path, which has been transformative, and I get a feeling from that I don't get from road running. Like something about being on the trails, your brain goes completely silent. It feels like it's a feeling that I think people chase. And it's like it's been emptied out and left on the coast path, and I am obsessed with that feeling. So the goal for me is my 54-kilometre ultra. I'm aiming for an 100-kilometre next spring, and then after that I have my absolute bucket list item would be to run the entire Southwest Coast Path, which is 630 miles long, and it would be the equivalent of running a marathon a day for just over a month. I have no idea if that's physically possible for me, but I really want to find out if I can, and why not me? Other people have done it, and I want to be one of those people. I want to push myself. I want to see the whole coast path. I think it's a magical part of the world. I think it's a very restorative part of the world. It's very healing. When you do any challenge, the version of yourself that you will meet during that challenge is one that you need to know. And it's messy and it's imperfect, and there will be bits about yourself that you don't like. You are going to meet a version of yourself that you get to love. And I think that that is really what these challenges mean to people. It's certainly what it means to me. I genuinely love running because it is quite a singular act. I actually really enjoy that time with myself. It helps me process other social situations, and it helps me recharge that social battery. But at the same time, the running community is one of the most supportive communities I've ever been part of. When you're out on the trails, people, they don't care about your pace, they don't care about how you look, or if you're out of breath, or if you're struggling, or if you're crying, or if you're bleeding, like, they don't care. They're just rooting for you in this incredibly organic way, and it is just human kindness. So my running journey started in 2023. I went from couch to London Marathon in 4 months. I'd never run a 5K, so my first race was the London Marathon, and I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with the routine and the rhythm and reaching a new height. After that, I actually really struggled to maintain running. I think I sort of burned out somewhat, and I had a bit of a mental health journey throughout that time where running just wasn't a priority. Then in 2025, I was sat on one of my usual running routes, and I was like, I'm gonna get back into it. Everything changed, and it became not just about what I could achieve, but like who I became while I was achieving it. The sorts of services that got me back on my feet, that got me back running, that got me back finding pleasure in the ocean and joy in my family and all of the good stuff that we all deserve in our life. And I've just had this in the back of my head for the longest time, that there needs to be support for people to get access to these services, because talking therapy does only go so far. So when I started fundraising for my 2 marathons I've done this year, I couldn't find a charity that did that, that offered those services to people. And then I just thought, well, if I can't find one, make one. And the Holding Her Foundation was born, which is currently a not-for-profit organisation that supports neurodiverse women and trauma survivors in accessing holistic healthcare. In its simplest form, I would like to connect the women who need it with those services so that they can start their own healing journey and come back home to themselves. And I think it's so important that we turn our pain into a purpose, and that struggle wasn't for nothing. I think that a massive part of our life is to be of service to others and to give back. You get to decide your limits, you get to decide how far you rise, and that for me is the real fuel that gets me through. The thing that I really hope people take when they hear my story is that when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. And there are tools, and there are people, and there is community, and there is nature that wants to see you get back up, and that you can do that even when it feels completely impossible.